So very good morning to all of you. Presently in the class are Gautam Godra, Manan Goyal, Parth Narendra Bhai, Rakesh Raika, Ravi Raman and Tirthak.
Yes, sir.
So let's start the class now. So by the time what we have studied is about uh, the Sale of Goods Act, Contract Act. Now this is the third act in your course. Okay. So let us see about this act also and how it works and how it actually uh, does and everything we will be able to do regarding this act particularly. Okay. So this act is a Negotiable Instrument Act. Okay. So let's start with this act as such. So any idea about negotiable instrument? Any of you? If you have any idea about this act? Anyone? Negotiable, have you heard about checks? Have you heard about bouncing of checks? And what happens if the check gets bounced? So any one of you, just give a vague idea if you have any idea. Let's participate and you know.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Who
So
is this?
negotiation instrument, I can just tell about the negotiation. It is just about, I guess it is a law which will abide, which will guide us in the negotiation in the law,
Okay.
I guess. So
No,
that will help us how.
no. It's not about negotiation. It's about negotiable instruments. Okay. So I have just given you idea about very well tried, Rakesh, because as the name suggests, it seems as to be it is something related to negotiation, but it is not so. Regarding negotiation, you will definitely study in HR if you have any chance to just study that. So, but this particular thing is regarding checks, bills of exchanges. You might have heard of bills of exchange when you have passed the entry for in your first year. Bills of exchanges.
Yes, sir.
Anyone, any idea? Anyone else? So what happens when check gets bounced? So you have taken some, you can say some goods from someone, and that person will ask you for a guarantee. So what guarantee will you give? The minimum guarantee can be that you can give an advance check to him, or you can just write a promissory note that I promise to pay you certain things. Okay, or otherwise you can you can tell that person, you write a bill on me, I will accept the bill and we give it back to you. That is called bills of exchange. So all these things are covered under this particular act, which is called negotiable instrument. Instrument is a document. Okay, so and as the name suggests, negotiable. So it is something which is you know, in place of cash, if you want, you can negotiate in order to pay something after a certain period of time. Okay, so this is a negotiable instrument, the instrument which actually helps you in negotiation. Okay, it's a document which helps you in negotiation for paying the money after a certain period of time to the seller from whom you have purchased certain goods on credit, or you may have you may have taken some money from that particular person and you want to give a guarantee. So in that case, what will happen? This instrument will help you in just giving a guarantee also, that okay, I will pay you. But what happens if such instrument gets bounced? What happens if I, as a drawer of the instrument, have some negotiable instrument with me, and if I want to settle account with someone else, for example, suppose it means A owes B certain amount, and that amount B owes C also. So if A will pay to C, it will be settled. Okay or not okay? So how these all things happen? What is the period of that? Can these negotiable instruments be claimed in the court of law? So these all things are related to the act which we will be studying today and onwards. Okay, so this act is a little bit complicated in the sense that you need proper attention in the class in order to understand what is happening in this act. Otherwise you will not be able to score good in your quizzes and other things. Okay, and at the same time, this is one of the most important act which will help you and which will with which you will encounter throughout your business life, throughout your life when you will be in your job and all that. So this will help you out in strengthening your skills related to the legal aspects of what happens if the somebody has someone's checks has bounced. What is the liability of the banker when you have drawn a check? Because I have already told you in contract that bank is a bailee. Okay, and you are the bailer. You have given your money to bank for keeping it in a safe custody and also for earning the interest out of it. But at the same time, what happens if you draw some check on the bank and bank refuses to pay? So what are the, you can say the remedies, or what are the you can say the outlook of it or outcome of it, or what will be the you can say what option do you have in such a case? So this act particularly, just covers all this. So let us just go into this act and see what it act is all about. Okay, so particularly regarding this negotiable instrument act, if you see this negotiable instrument, we will just study the introduction and nature. So this is what is covered. So negotiable instrument can broadly be covered under the following. So this is the complete structure of the act, if you see. So we will start with the notes, bills, checks and other related provisions under section 4 to 25. Then the parties to the notes, bills and checks. So what will happen to the parties? What is negotiation? How negotiation happens using the negotiable instrument is there. Presentment, discharge, notice of dishonor, noting and protesting what happens, compensation, special rules and of evidence, that what evidence you have to bring in order to, bring out a suit. What is the international law regarding this in negotiable instruments, and what are the penalties in case of from section 138 to 147. Section 138 is a very famous section because this talks about the bouncing of checks. Okay, so mostly this is quoted. So this is the entire you can say the layout of the act, but we will be covering only those things which are in your syllabus. So we'll tell you that how we will be proceeding further and how we will be doing it. So just as a prelude, because we have studied about the Sales and Goods Act now. So for what is the basis of you can say in this pandemic time also some sales is happening, some purchase is happening. My market might not be at the boom, but this is what is the basis of every business activity, and this is the basis of any or every activity of the, you can say, for survival it is necessary. So goods are bought and sold for cash as well as on credit. So the people keep on doing their businesses. So all the transaction will require a flow of cash. Either immediately the cash has to flow. Either it will flow immediately, or it may be deferred for certain period of time, but it will flow. It is for sure. So whatever cash in the economy is, so it is for flow only. So in modern business, a large number of transaction, huge sum of money is involved. So in every day, if you see, a lot of transactions happens. Okay, so it is inconvenient as well as risky for the parties to make and receive payment in cash, because huge transaction, huge money, big money. So it is always risky, to just do the things in cash itself. Therefore, it is a common practice to make use of certain documents which by means of making payment. So if I satisfy someone else, okay, now your payment is with me on your behalf, I have kept it. So wherever to deposit, I will do it, or through the banks, we will do it. So these all instruments by the help of which enables the businessman to, help him to make payment or receive payment. These all are called negotiable instruments. But on the other hand, accepting a payment of negotiable instrument is also not that much easy, or it's not no less risky. Okay, so it also involves risk, because once you have written the negotiable instrument, if the party, the who has written the negotiable instrument, the check of that party gets bounced. So what will happen in that case? What will you do in that case? So these are the things which are, very, very important for us to just understand and know that what will happen if this will happen. So that is the risk factor which is there in case of the negotiable instrument or also besides other things. So in light of this, the Negotiable Instrument Act was passed in 1881. There is no doubt that the act regulates the commercial transactions and was drafted to suit the requirements of the business condition prevailing then. Means it is a very old act. If you see, the act was passed in 1881. So 1881 means you can just see even it is almost more than 140 years the act has passed. Okay, so this is the act is regarding that what will happen if somebody bounces or how to deal with the negotiable instrument. So the law in India is regulated negotiable instrument is contained in negotiable instrument 1881. So this act is to define and amend the law relating to promissory note, bills of exchange and checks. Okay, so the act applies to whole India, but nothing withstanding. So just to understand, it applies actually to whole India because Article 370 is again in question. So it normally applies to the whole India. So even it is besides it is written that it will not affect anything which is related to the instrument written in any Oriental language. So anything before this, if any instrument is written, that will again be covered under this law, provided the instrument is having certain obligations, legal obligation which is binding two parties. So that will also be covered. Like these hundis. No, these hundis, the provision of the act is also applicable to hundis. Now, what are hundis? Hundis were written at that time when it was written long back. Okay. So unless there is a local usage to the contrary, the act is also applicable to the hundis. So other native instruments like treasury bill, bearer, debenture, etc. are also considered negotiable instruments either by the mercantile customer or under the enactment, because these are the bearer instruments. So bearer instruments can be can prove to be equally a good mode of payment. Why? Because it is a bearer instrument. So whosoever will be having the ownership of the bearer instrument can claim those instruments, and these bearer instruments or bearer debentures are issued by the treasury or by the government or by the reserve bank or by the central bank of the country. Okay, so there have been recent developments in the negotiable instrument. The recent development happened in 2018, which actually comprise of two significant changes: introduction of section 143 and section 148. These changes provide an interim compensation during the pendency of the criminal complaint and the criminal appeal. So now the previous sections, actually, if you see, they are also one or the other way more related to the penalties only. So previously, the previous amendments are also regarding the expedition of the payment of the payment which is given in the as a verdict by the government. Okay, by the court of law. Okay, so that is so just in order to expedite the court proceedings, or they have increased the penalty also. And it was also said that within 6 months the case will have to be resolved. So by the time passing, it is not difficult to deceive others by just issuing a fake negotiable instrument. So there are severe penalties, and these all acts are regarding those penalties only which are given over here. So what is the meaning of negotiable instrument? So negotiable instrument is an instrument. Instrument here means it is not like the instrument which ये बजाने का instrument नहीं. So that is not at all applicable over here. So this instrument is the instrument which is a document. Okay, so this is something which is a document and which is freely transferable by custom of trade. Means it is freely transferable from one person to another, from one person to another by mere delivery or by endorsement and delivery. So there are two modes of giving. Either it is just merely by delivery or by endorsement and delivery. So the property in such an instrument passes to a bona fide transferee for the value you have received. Okay, so it has to be for the value. So the act does not define the term. Now this is very interesting. In the Negotiable Instrument Act, as such, the Negotiable Instrument Act is not defined. This phrase negotiable instrument is not defined at all in the act. However, section 13 of the act provides there are three kinds of negotiable instrument, which I have already told you: bills of exchange, promissory note, and checks, and we will be discussing these instruments one by one. So there are three types of instruments as given under the act, that is promissory note, bills of exchange, and check. So there are further two more types of instruments on the basis of, I have just now told you that either it can be on the delivery or it can be on endorsement and delivery. So accordingly, a negotiable instrument is payable to order when it is expressed to be so payable, and when it is expressed to be payable to a specified person and does not contain the word prohibiting its transfer. That is, it is transferable by endorsement and delivery. Then it can be transferred. Otherwise, it cannot be transferred. So it can be a payable to order, or it can be payable to bearer. It can be payable to order if you have cut down the bearer. So in the check, if you see what, so today's assignment for all of you is that you have to take the checkbook from your father, or you might be having your own checkbook. Just observe what are the contents of the check and what is the meaning of each and every word, what is written over there. So check itself is an order to the banker to pay to the person who is written in the check the amount which is written in the check, or to bearer. Now see, this word to bearer will be there in the checks itself. So negotiable instruments are payable to order when it is directed towards a specified person, and it is payable to bearer if there is no such order as given that it is to be payable to the order. So when it is expressly to be payable as a bearer, or you can say pay bearer, you can write a check pay bearer. Okay, when the only or the last endorsement, as the endorsement means signing of the instrument on the instrument is an endorsement in the bank, in the blank only. So if the endorsement is a blank endorsement, then it can be a bearer, means anyone who just want to just take the payment of that check, put his name on the check and can claim the payment from the bank. So that is called a bearer instrument. Okay, so and if someone fills that particular blank which has been left in the check, then at that moment the instrument becomes payable to the order. So bearer instruments are more widely spread. It can be, but at the same time it is very risky to have the bearer instrument, because if you carry a bearer instrument, it is just like a currency note. If it drops down somewhere and somebody picks it up, so you cannot claim the ownership on that bearer instrument. But at the same time, I have already told you it has to be for the value received. So if a person who has taken away the if of or he is the founder of some bearer instrument, he has to prove that he has given the value for it, and then only he has achieved it. So there are certain essential characteristics of negotiable instruments. Okay, please tell me if you have any doubt up till here. You can ask me now itself, or if you have something in your mind, or something might have come when I was teaching. So please ask me over here up till now, so that I can proceed further for the essential characteristics of negotiable instruments. Anyone? Rakesh Raika, any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Hemant Kumar Khatik, are you there? Any doubt? Sure, right. Just mark Hemant Kumar Khatik absent.
Okay, sir.
Khushi Shekhawat.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, any doubts, Khushi?
No, sir.
So what is a bearer instrument, Khushi?
So it is a instrument, negotiable instrument. Uh,
Okay, keep on Googling and then tell me afterwards. You don't just, be attentive in the class then. Yeah, Manan Goyal. Khushi, I will get back to you. Yeah, Manan Goyal, what is a bearer instrument? Good morning. Parth Darendra Bhai.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what is a bearer instrument?
Sir, check.
No, what actually is check is just an example. Check can also be payable to order. What is a bearer instrument? I want to just ask you. Anyone? Anyone in the class? Khushi Shekhawat, Google हो गया?
yes, sir.
हाँ.
So it is a type of security.
Security.
Example.
It is a security. थोड़ा सा ठीक से गूगल करती है ना खुशी. Negotiable bearer instrument करती तो तुमको मिल जाता. Laksharaj Singh. Laksharaj. ये दो लक्षराज सिंह है क्या? लक्ष्य राज सिंह और लक्षराज सिंह. Two IDs are given over here. Sorry, mark absent to Laksharaj.
Sir, which one?
दोनों. कोई नहीं है यहाँ पे.
Okay, sir.
दोनों को एब्सेंट लगाओ. रवि रमन.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Ravi. What is a bearer instrument? What is a bearer instrument?
Don't know, sir.
Huh? Huh? What?
Don't know, sir.
Why you don't know what you're doing in the class? Then you're doing in the class. Then if you will not ask me anything, if you don't know, then what will happen? Why have you not asked? I've asked you to ask me if you are not having this, means not knowing this, and just stop this echoing sound. Ravi Raman, should I mark you absent?
No, sir.
Tarush Mugdgal. Tarush,
Yes, sir.
what is the order instrument?
What, sir?
Order. What are the negotiable instruments which are payable to order?
Order instrument. It is able to take an order instrument is like
Sir, endorsement
Not sure,
and
sir.
delivery.
Endorsement and delivery what?
Sir, यहाँ पे लिखा है ना that it is transferable by endorsement and delivery.
So,
तो
what
sir
is endorsement and what is delivery?
सर जो कंपनी प्रोडक्ट एंडोर्स करती है लाइक थोड़े जैसे हेयर सीरम्स वगैरह हो गए एंड डिलीवरी जैसे मान लो सर ये जोमेटो वगैरह होते हैं वो पेबल
नहीं बेटा, you are taking it other way around. It is not actually it is talking about the endorsement and delivery of the instrument. Okay, so it is a different. So you will see what is endorsement and delivery. But Karthik, I appreciate you. Well attempt. At least you have said something by your own. Harshit, Drishti Verma, mark absent to Harshit.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Drishti.
Okay, sir.
What do you mean by endorsement and delivery? What is the instrument payable by order?
Sir, I don't know, sir. I don't know.
What do you mean by this blank endorsement? I told you just now in the class. What is meaning of blank endorsement?
So where the owner is not specified any, I think so, where the owner is not specified, where the name of the owner is not known.
Chali, anyways, let us proceed further. I think you will be able to understand further. Okay, so the essential characteristics of a negotiable instrument. First of all, it has to be in writing. A negotiable, because it is an instrument, it has a document, so it cannot be, as such which cannot be in writing. Next, it should be signed. Okay, so it has to be signed. So when you have written the instrument, it has to be signed. Why you have to sign it? Because then only it will get authenticated at who has issued the instrument. So anyone can write the instrument. If it is not signed, then it will not be called as a negotiable instrument. Next, it is freely transferable from one person to another. So generally speaking, negotiable instrument, the negotiability of the instrument comes to it when it is transferable. Okay, so when it is transferable to one person and it is freely transferable, then only the negotiability will be there. Okay. Next is your you can say the holder title is free from the defect. So whosoever will be holder, should be having a title free of the defects, means he should not get actually stolen instrument. So if the instrument is stolen, if the instrument is not transferable, it will not be called as a negotiable instrument, because you cannot actually negotiate with the help of these. Okay, so every negotiable instrument must contain either a promise or an order to pay. So what is this instrument about? So this instrument is about the payment of the money. So it must comprise of the condition that, or unconditional payment of the money, or conditional payment of the money whatsoever. So also the promise or the order must be unconditional. So promise and order must be unconditional, but at the same time what you can do is that such instruments can be, or you can say it bearer or order itself is one of the conditions. Okay, so this is one thing. So the promise or the order to pay must consist of money only. So you cannot deal in goods. Okay, you cannot just have a instrument which actually carries something which is about goods. So those will not be called as a negotiable instrument. So nothing should be payable whether in addition or in substitution of the money. So it must be in the hard money only. Okay, so there are certain presumptions. This is given under section 118, but these presumptions are to be studied over here now itself. That what are the presumptions? That these are the presumptions in the fair course of business. So presumptions, there is a relation of the presumption and what is the presumption drawn. So until contrary it is proved, the following presumption shall be made of consideration. So every negotiable instrument was made or drawn for a consideration, so that there has to be something in return of the instrument which is being drawn. So there has to be, I already told you that it has to be for the value created. So if the value is not being created with the negotiable instrument, it will be totally useless. Okay, so a value is to be created through the negotiable instrument. Next is as to date. So every negotiable instrument bearing a date was made or to be drawn on such and such date. So before that particular date is you cannot just actually make a negotiable instrument applicable, or before that, before the date of the writing of the instrument, there was no such. So no such consideration has happened, nothing has happened, the contract has also not happened. So so it is regarding this. Okay, so it has to be on a date. Yeah, Parth.
So you are talking about creating a value. So value should be in terms of money or experience.
No, for example, you have purchased some goods from someone. Okay, so that goods is the value. Okay. So in exchange of those goods, you are writing some negotiable instrument. Okay, so in that case, the value means you are writing the negotiable instrument for the value you are receiving. You are not writing it free of cost, or you are not writing under pressure. So that is that has to be over here. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. Next is as to time of the acceptance. So every accepted bill of exchange was accepted within a reasonable time after its date and before its maturity. So when we are talking of the acceptance, the acceptance has to be well on time, or you can say the instrument should be right well on time. So acceptance happens when the bills of exchange are there, and checks and promissory note do not require any acceptance, because it is accepted, then only it is written. Okay, so I will tell you what is the process of it. So as a time of transfer, every transfer of negotiable instrument was made before its maturity. So if the negotiable instruments mature, the transfer is of no meaning. Okay, so it has to be transferred before it is matured. Oh, maybe such transfer, maybe to the bank, maybe to some other person. Okay, so that has to be done before the maturity. After maturity is useless to transfer. Nobody else will take it up. Okay, unless you have defrauded someone in order to make him take the negotiable instrument. Okay, so that is the time of or the time of acceptance and the time of transfer. Further, as to order of the instrument, so instrument must endorse. Okay, so endorsement appearing upon the instruments were made in order in which they appear thereon. So there has to be also means a person who is a holder of the instrument will endorse it to someone else, then that person will become the holder, then that person will endorse it to someone. So there has to be an order of endorsements happen. So it must be clear out of it. Further, as to stamps, so loss, you can say the loss promissory note, bill checks of the bills, bill of exchange or check was of checks of exchange, whatever, it has to be duly stamped. Stamp means a proper stamping. Stamping is a fee which is to be given to the government in order to authenticate an instrument. So until and unless the stamping is there, the instrument is of no use at all. Next is as to holder. The holder of the negotiable instrument is an holder in the due course of time, means he is a person who is holding the instrument, and he is the holder in the due course, means during the course of or you can say during the journey of the instrument from writing of the instrument to its maturity. So every person whosoever will hold the instrument, or who in whomsoever hand the instrument comes, he is the holder in the due course. Okay, so this is all about this. Next is your promissory note, bills of exchange and checks. So what is promissory note? Promissory note is according to section 4, a promissory note is an instrument in writing. So promissory note, as the name suggests itself, it says that it is a promise to pay certain. Okay, so it is not a bank note or a currency note. On currency note also it is written, I promise to pay the bearer a sum of this much of rupees. It is written over there. So but that note is not a promissory note. That is a currency note. Okay, so it is a promissory note is an instrument in writing containing an unconditional undertaking. So a person who is writing the instrument is actually giving a unconditional undertaking, and it is signed by that maker to pay certain sum of money. Okay, so it is an unconditional undertaking to pay certain sum of money to or to the order, means of a certain person or the bearer of the instrument. So a person is undertaking in that promissory note that I will pay a sum of, for example, rupees 1000 to the bearer of the instrument. Okay, and actually this is made in order to pay the sum to someone from whom we have taken the money. And if he has taken the money, the same money to from someone else, he can transfer that particular instrument written by the first person to the third person. Okay, so and because it is a order to pay the bearer also, so whosoever will be holding this, it is an order to pay him. So the person who is writing it will be having the obligation to pay the other person who is the bearer. So a person who makes the promise to pay is called the maker, and he is the debtor because he has taken the money, and that's why he is writing. He is given in writing that okay, I will pay you. Okay, and must sign the instrument. The person who gets the money, who will get this particular instrument is called the creditor, or to whom the money is to be paid, or who has to get the money is called the creditor, because he has given the money before. So for the value received or for the goods received, a person is writing a negotiable instrument to be cleared by him after a certain period of time to a person who is either named in the instrument or by his order, to whomsoever he will order, he has to pay it. Okay, so let us just see. It has to be in writing. It is an express promise to pay. Mere acknowledgement of debt is not sufficient. Okay, so if you have written that I acknowledge that I have taken the money, that is not sufficient. It has to be in writing that I promise to pay you, then only it will be there. So example, I acknowledge myself to be indebted to B in rupees 1000 to be paid on demand for the value received. Okay, so this is a valid promissory note as a promise to pay is defined. So it is called a valid promissory note. Now see, this is the second example. Mr. B, I owe you 1000. So this is just a statement of debt that I owe you 1000. So it's an invalid promissory note as there is no promise to pay. It is just an acknowledgement of the debt. Third is the promise to pay should be definite and unconditional. Therefore, the instrument payable on the performance or non-performance of a particular act or on the happening of any event are not promissory notes at all. Okay, so it cannot be contingent. It has to be unconditional. It has to be definite. How much amount is to be paid is to be definite, and after how much time it is to pay is to be paid, it is again definite. So, however, the promise to pay may be subject to a condition which, according to the ordinary experience of mankind, is bound to happen. So, uncertain things cannot, give rise to the negotiable instrument. But if the certain things are there which has to happen, then only the things will then only this promissory note will be called as a promissory note. For example, I promise to pay rupees 500 7 days after my marriage with C. Now the promissory note is invalid as the marriage with C may or may not happen. C may refuse, or B may refuse, whatever. So it is not a valid promissory note. Next example, I promise to pay B 500 on D's death, as the death of D is certain, the promise is unconditional. Thus, this is a promissory note which is a valid one. Next is, for example, I promise to pay B 500 on D's death provided D leaves me enough sum to pay. Now this is again an invalid one. If D will not leave some money, then how this promise will be, this becomes a conditional one. Okay, so this is also not a promissory note as such. Next is a promissory note must be signed by the maker, otherwise it will be ineffective. Next is promise to pay money only. Example, I promise to pay B 500 rupees 500 to deliver to him and to deliver to him my black horse on 1st January next. Okay, so this is a note which is written. Now it is not a valid promissory note. Why? Because it is there is a promise to deliver the horse also along with the money. So it has to be purely money only. Then only it will be called as a promise note. Now what will happen if the horse will die after some time? What will happen? The things which are there in the existence may perish. So these things are to be excluded in order to make a promissory note valid. So it can only be in money. It cannot be in kind. So it has to be in hard cash only. So promise to pay a certain sum of money. There has to be certain sum of money. For example, I promise to pay B rupees 500 and all other sums which shall be due to him. Now this is a vague thing. Okay, so vague things cannot actually create a promise. So this promise note will be invalid. Now next, the maker and the payee must be certain, definite and different persons. I cannot promise to pay myself. Okay, so a person has to be different from a person who is writing it. Okay, so a promise note cannot be made payable to the bearer as such. Now this one thing is very clear, because I have already told you that a promissory note which is actually issued payable to the bearer will take a form of a currency, and it will be illegal to just issue such promissory note, because it will keep on transferring from one person to another, and it will create a chaos, and it will create a confusion also, because then it may take form of a currency note also. So that's why it is not at all recommended, and if it is so, it is illegal. Only Reserve Bank of India and central government can issue such promissory note which is payable to the bearer. Okay. Next is stamping. As I have already told you, promissory note must be properly stamped in accordance with the provisions of the Indian Stamp Act. Such stamp must be duly cancelled by the maker's signature or initial or otherwise. So it has to be properly stamped. Okay. Next is your bills of exchange. Now bills of exchange is an instrument in writing containing an unconditional order signed by the maker directing a certain person to pay certain sum of money only to or the order of certain person or the bearer of the instrument. Now this there are three parties over here in case of bills of exchange. That is a drawer. A drawer is actually the maker of this. So here the things are different. A person who has sold the goods will draw a bill, and the other person will accept that bill and again give it back to the drawer, and the person who has drawn the bill will be called drawee, or a person who is writing the instrument over here will be the creditor. And in case of promissory note, a person who is writing the instrument becomes the debtor. So here a person is writing the instrument, and the other person to whom the goods has been sold will accept it. So there is a process of acceptance in case of bills of exchange, whereas in case of promissory note there is no process of acceptance. A person, because he has accepted that he has taken the debt, he will write he will write the promissory note and give it to someone else that I promise to pay you certain amount after certain period of time. So a drawer over here will be creditor, but drawer of the instrument in case of a promissory note will be the debtor who has actually taken the money. So here the drawer will write a bills of exchange, and drawee will accept that I accept to pay you this sum of money which you have written in this bill. So it creates a liability, and that liability will be unconditional. Okay, and he gives again back to drawee. So what is written over there? It is written that drawee will pay this certain sum of money, for example rupees 500, to C. For example, some other person is involved. So it can either be to you can say to give money to the drawer or to any other person. If it is a drawer, then there will be only two parties. But if the money is to be paid to third party, then he will be called the payee. So his name may be in the instrument, or it can be, it may not be in the instrument also. So if it is a bearer instrument. Next is there are certain essential characteristics of bills of exchange. One is it has to be in writing. It must contain an express order to pay. So order must be defined at an unconditional. These all things are common. Okay. Drawer must sign the instruments. Okay. Now drawer, drawee and payee must be certain. So here there are three parties who have to be certain, and all these three parties may not necessarily be the three different persons. One can play a role of two, but a drawer cannot be a drawee also. Okay, a person cannot write an instrument on himself, but there must be two distinct person in any case. There has to be two. So drawer and payee can be the same person. I can draw bills of exchange on someone else to pay me again. So the person will accept that bills of exchange and give it back to me, because it's an unconditional promise to pay me that amount and not to someone else. That will work. That is okay. But there can be at least two parties. Okay. So drawer and drawee cannot be one person. Drawer and payee can be one person. Okay. So next is the sum must be certain. The order must be to pay money only, and it must be stamped. So there is a difference between the. So this is complete a process which I have just now told you. So Mr. Sam is a drawer, and Miss Reet is a drawee. So what will happen? Mr. Sam will write a bill on Reet, and Reet will accept the bill and give it back to Sam. Why? Because Sam has sold some goods to Reet, and in exchange of that she has given a bill. Now what will happen? The Reet will give acceptance. So this is bills of exchange. The Reet will give acceptance and give it to drawer. On maturity, what will happen? The drawee, that is Reet, will make the payment of the money, and Sam will get the cash, and the transaction is finished, and this instrument will be torn off. This instrument will be of no use. It may be, it can be cancelled. So this is, so if you have seen, there is a difference between a promissory note and bills of exchange. So what you have to do today, you have to write the difference between promissory note and bills of exchange, though I have given it over here, but you can apply your own mind also. And we have seen that in promissory note, two parties, bills of exchange, there are three parties. The nature of instrument is it's a promise to pay, and it is an order for making payment. So a drawer is ordering the drawee to make payment, and drawee is accepting that order. Okay, so nature is different over here. A definition is also different. Acceptance happens in bills of exchange. In promissory note, there is no need of acceptance. Why? Because the person who is a debtor himself accepts the debt and then only writes the promissory note. Next is payable to bearer. A promissory note cannot be made payable to bearer, but a bills of exchange can be made payable to bearer, because it again gets discounted from the banks. Okay, so this is all about the promissory note, bills of exchange. I hope you have understood what is negotiable instrument. Okay, if not, then please go through this video which we have just now shot for this particular class. So this is I will just stop over here, because next is check, and check needs a lot of attention also. So tomorrow we will be going with this check. What are the parties to check, and how the checks actually work, and these are the things, and these are the specimen. Now see that this is specimen. The specimen of promissory note, that here it is written the amount, the place and the date. So 3 months after the date, means after writing, I promise to pay Sri Ramesh, payee or his order a sum of rupees 10,000 or for the value received. So this is for the value received is again important. So here the stamp will be there. Ram will sign, because this is something which is he is promised. I promise to pay. Ram will sign, and to whom? To Sri Ramesh, because here also Ramesh is written. So he is the payee also. Okay, in this case, and the address is written. So this is the, you can say, the format of the promissory note. In the same way, bills of exchange will, what will happen? Mr. A, who is a drawer, he will write for the value 10,000 4 months after the date, that is April 10, 2018, pay to Mr. B. So this is pay. So A is directing it to C to pay Mr. B a sum of rupees 10,000 for the value received to Mr. C, that is drawee, and this is his address. So here what will happen? A will just sign it, and B will we will write accepted and also sign the instrument, and will give it back to A. Okay, for payment to C in the future. Okay, so this is about the bills of exchange. So I have given the specimen of check also over here, but the essential characteristics of checks and all these things we will be studying tomorrow, and tomorrow we will be able to understand the difference between promissory note, bills of exchange, and check. So again, you have to write the difference between bills of exchange and check also. So that will be the homework for tomorrow. So let me just take the attendance. Drishti Verma, Gautam Godra, Harshit, Hemant Kumar Khatik, Karthik Rajput, Karthikeyan Sharma, Khushi Shekhawat, Laksharaj Singh,
Yes, sir.
Manan Goyal, Matang Sharma, Mukul Swami, Parv Narendra
Yes,
Bhai,
sir.
Prakash Chaudhary,
Present,
Puneet
sir.
Yadav, Pushpendra Pal Singh, Rahul Javaria,
Present, sir.
Rakesh Raika, Ravi Raman,
Present, sir.
Rohan Modi,
Yes,
Sandeep
sir.
Singh Bhatti, Shaurya Dikshit, Soumya Deepa, Tarush Mudgal, and Tirthak Kirti Bhai Fultaria.
Yes, sir.
So this is the attendance for the day, and I hope you have at least started thinking about the negotiable instruments. So we will just continue this lecture tomorrow. Meanwhile, just go through this. This is an interesting chapter. If you understand it, it will be helpful for you throughout your life. Okay. So thank you and have a nice day to all of you. Bye bye. Take care.